learn how to play lesson 11 in the Breeze Easy Drum Method book, and we're going to learn lessons 1 through 6. In this lesson, we're going to learn about 16th notes, and a 16th note is 1/4 of a single beat. So we've learned up to now 8th notes, which is a half a beat. We're going to break that up even more. With 8th notes, you fit 2 notes within 1 beat. So if your quarter notes are 1, 2, 3, 4, your 8th notes were 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we have 16th notes. We're going to read them as they're 4 notes, and we're going to fit all 4 notes in one single beat. We're going to count them like this: 1 E and A. So if you have your single beat, we're going to count 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 4 E and A, and that's how we're going to count 16th notes. If you have trouble saying 1 E and A, if it's easier, you're more than welcome to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. But the proper way to count through the rhythm would be using 1 E and A. Let's look at lesson number 1. If we look at number 1, we're going to count the measures as so. First of all, notice that the time signature is 2/4, which we are counting to 2 in every measure. So the first measure is counted 1 and 2. The second measure is the same thing, 1 and 2. Now in that next measure, we have those 4 16th notes. So you're going to count it 1 E and A, 2. And then the second beat, the 2, is just a quarter note, so it's just 1 count. And then the next measure, we're going to read the same thing. So it'll be 1 E and A, 2. The next half of the song is exactly the same as the first. So you're going to count 1 and 2. Do it again. 1 and 2. Here's the next part. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. Let's read through that line again. So from the beginning, we have 1 and 2. 1 and 2. Here's our 16th notes. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. Let's try playing that. If you notice, there is a repeat sign, so when we play through, we are going to do it twice. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. Do it again. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 and 2. 1 and 2. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2. In previous lessons, when we've done 8th notes, I've told you to think you have to play 2 notes fast, but they've got to be even. Now when you see 4 notes connected, I want you to think you have to play 4 notes even faster, but again, they have to be even. Let's move on to number 2. Again, every measure is in 2. We are 2/4. So in the time signature, it does say 2/4, which means we're counting to 2 in every measure. If you look at the first beat, it's broken up into 4, and then the second beat is the 2. So we read the 16th notes as 1 E and A, and then you have 8th notes, so it's just 2 and. So the first measure sounds like this: 1 E and A, 2 and. The next measure, 1 E and A, 2. The next measure is the same as the first. 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. The next measure, 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2 and. Last measure, 1 and 2. So if you see 4 notes, I want you to think I got to play 4 notes fast. If you see 2 notes, I want you to think you got to play 2 notes fast. But the 4s have to be counted 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 E and A. And the 8th notes have to be counted 1 and, 1 and. Let's try that again. Here's number 2. We have 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 and 2. Let's try playing line number 2. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 E and A, 2 and. 1 E and A, 2. 1 Great. Let's try that one more time. There is no repeat sign, but we're just going to try it again. Here we go. Number 2. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2. 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2. Great. We are on lesson number 3 now. It is a 2-line, exercise number 3. It is 2 lines long. So reading through, it looks like a lot of 16th notes in a row. So you're going to count. For the first measure, you have 1 E and then you do it again, but it's beat 2. So we're going to start on 2. 2 E and then we're starting again. Next measure, again, well, it's a new measure, so we go back to 1. 1 E and then we have just 8th notes, so it's 2 and. We're going to go back to the beginning again. Let me read through that one more time. We have 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and. The next part is exactly the same thing, except we end with a quarter note, a 1 count note instead of the 8th note. So the third measure we have 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Let's read through that first line one more time. Here we go. We have 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. We're on the next line. Guess what? The next line is exactly the same as the first, so we already know how to play it. Let's do it. Here we go. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Let's go back to the very beginning and let's try playing the whole song. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Number 3. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Next line. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Let's read through song number 3 one more time. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Next line. 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 2. Great job. We're on song number 4. If you look at the very beginning of the line in the time signature, it says that it's in 4/4, which means that we're counting to 4 beats for every measure this time. The first measure, we have the 4 quarter notes, so you're just going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. The next measure are all 8th notes, so remember we break the 8th notes up into ands. So 1 and, 2 and, so it'll sound like this. 1 and, 2 and, 3 and, 4 and. The next 2 measures are all 16th notes. So every time you get to the beat, I want you to say the next number. So you have to get to 4. And in between, you're going to count E and So it'll be 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then you do it again. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then we're back to 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then the very last measure are quarter notes again. So they're just the 1 count notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's walk through that beginning of the song again. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. Then 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we have 16th notes. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and then we do it again. 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and now we're back to 8th notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then we have the quarter notes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try playing through the song. There is a repeat sign at the end, so we're going to play through the line 2 times. Starting at number 4, we have 1, 2, ready, play. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and 2 E and 1 E and 4 E and 1 E and 2 E and 3 E and 4 E and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 repeat. Do it again. Back to the beginning. Ready? Go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Great job. We're moving on to lesson number 5 now. Again, we are counting in 4. It says 4, 4 in the time signature in the beginning of the line. This one is a little bit more tricky. If you look at the very first measure, you have a rest in there. So remember, when you see that rest with a dot in the line, that's an 8th note rest, so it is a faster rest. So we're going to count this first measure as so. 1 and rest, and 3, 4 and. So the rest is on beat 2. So it'll be 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. Let's try that measure one more time. We're just on the first measure. We have 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. The next measure we have 1 and, then we have our 16th notes, 2 E and a, then we're back to 8th notes, 3 and 4 and. The next measure is the same as the very beginning, first measure, so we should remember how to play it. It's 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. The last measure of that line is 1 and 2 E and a 3 and rest. Let's just try playing through that line one more time. We have 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and rest. The next line is the same as the first, so you should already know how to play it. The only difference between line 1 and line 2 is if you look at the second measure, instead of breaking up the 4 8th notes at the end of the measure, they just connect all 4 of them, but they mean exactly the same thing. So let's read through the second line. We have 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 E and a 3 and rest. Let's try playing this on the snare drum. Here we go. 1, 2, lesson 5, ready, play. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and rest. Next line. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest on 2 and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and rest. Great job. We're going to try that one more time. Here we go from the beginning, number 5. 1, 2, ready, play. 1 and rest and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and rest. Next line. 1 and rest and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and 4 and. 1 and rest and 3, 4 and. 1 and 2 and a 3 and rest. Great job. We're looking at lesson number 6. It is 2 parts. You have a top line and a bottom line. They are both snare drum parts because you see the stems are going up. So we're going to learn the first line, the top line, and then we're going to learn the bottom line, and then we'll try putting it together at the same time. So if you look at the very beginning, we're in 2-4 in the time signature, so we're counting to 2 in every measure. The first measure will sound like this. 1 E and a 2 and. The next measure is the same. 1 E and a 2 and. We're on the third measure where it says P for piano, and we're going to play 1 and 2. Then you do it again. 1 and 2. The next line, the next section is the same as the beginning, so we do the beginning part again. forte loud, 1 E and a 2 and, do it again, 1 E and a 2 and here's the end of the song. We have 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Let's read through that one more time. Here we go. From the beginning, we have 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2, 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Great job. Let's play this on the snare drum. Here we go. 1, 2. Oh, we are going to put in the dynamic, so make sure where it says F, you're going to play loud, and make sure where you say P, you're going to play soft for piano. Here we go. 1, 2, starting off loud. Ready? Play. 1 E and 1 E and soft. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 E and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So you end the whole song, it stays loud from the middle of the line all the way to the end. Let's play through that one more time. Here's the top line of exercise number 6. We have 1, 2, ready, loud. 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. This is soft. 1 and 2, loud. 1 and 2. Great job. Now let's look at the bottom line. We have, if you notice, it looks very similar to the top line. We're alternating. So instead of starting with 1 E and a 2 and, we're starting with this third and fourth measure. We're playing 1 and 2 first. So it's the same as the first line. We're just mixing up the order that we play the 8th notes and the 16th notes. So reading through from the beginning, the first part is piano. We have 1 and 2, 1 and 2. The next part's forte. 1 E and a 2 and. 1 E and a 2 and. Then we have piano. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Then we end loud. 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2. Let's read through that line one more time. We have 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 E and a 2 and. 1 E and a 2 and. Soft. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2. Let's try this with a snare drum. Here we go. 1, 2, starting soft, ready, play. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 E and a 2 and 1 E and a 2 and soft. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 E and a 2 and 1 and 2. Let's read through that line one more time before we play this as a duet. Here we go. 1, 2, starting soft, ready, and play. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. 1 and 2 and soft. 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Loud. And 1 and 2. Now we're going to play it as a duet. You're going to hear both parts. I want you to try playing the first part, the top line first. And then I want you to go back and I want you to listen to it again. And I want you to play the bottom line. But you're always going to hear both parts. Don't get confused. Make sure you concentrate on only your part. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, play. Great job. I can't wait to hear your recordings.